I'm Linda Miles. I'm a film producer and head of fiction directing at the National Film School. But in the 70s, I was director of the Edinburgh International Film Festival. And I met Martin Scorsese at Cannes in 1975. He is arguably the greatest American film director. He makes very personal films, especially in the first 20 years of his career. His films are probably the most personal in American cinema. He makes films about issues about which he feels passionately, about violence, about guilt, redemption. When he was a child growing up in Little Italy, it was a very noisy neighbourhood. So he grew up with a lot of musical influences. And I think one can argue that he uses music more effectively and more expressively than almost any other working film director. Martin had a very unusual childhood because he suffered from asthma and he was a sickly child who couldn't go out and play in the streets. So he spent his time either in bed drawing storybooks or in the cinema. He was taken to the cinema from a very young age, watched everything. And then when television began in America, he watched endless movies, again, through his adolescence when he wasn't particularly well, but he would watch films again and again and again on television. Shutter Island, his most successful film, stars Leonardo DiCaprio and Mark Ruffalo as a pair of policemen who go to this strange island. And it's a very powerful thriller based on a novel by Dennis Lehane. I think his most famous film is Taxi Driver, and it's one of the most powerful, violent films of that period. Well, he's worked a lot with Robert De Niro, who comes from a similar background in Little Italy, and also he's done about 5 films now with Leonardo DiCaprio. But he does like to work with the same people in terms of both actors and crew again and again. And I think what happens is they develop a private language. Apart from the fact these are 2 fantastic actors, there's a way that they relate to one another that makes it very effective. And his other great passion is music, and most of the documentaries he's made have been about music, like No Direction Home about Bob Dylan, The Last Waltz about the band's last concert, and also a film about George Harrison. Well, he finally won an Oscar. He was nominated several times. On these occasions, I think he should have won. He was given an honorary Oscar, Life for a Lifetime Achievement, but his first proper Oscar was for The Departed. He was given it by Francis Ford Coppola, Steven Spielberg, and George Lucas. And when he went on stage, he said, "Are you sure you have the right envelope?" Because he'd had to attend year after year and not won.